Let me ask you, how many Muslims are in America?
I don't know the number off the top of my head.
So you're saying that law enforcement should surveil a number of Muslims, and you don't even know how many Muslims are in America?
What I'm
saying... There are 3 million Muslims in America.
Our television shows should have some Muslim characters that are unrelated to national security.
Now, defenders of the ban say burkinis promote the subjugation of women. So basically, here's their logic. Excuse me, ma'am, your garment is part of a culture that oppresses women. So, let's lose that top. Now, personally, I support burkinis at the beach as someone who believes in freedom of religion and who may or may not enjoy the security of a big droopy t-shirt while swimming.
Islamophobia in America, you know, for me, that's why it's important to show up. It's like I'm in Dubai and I'm having fun and I'm tweeting and I'm showing pictures. Hey, doesn't look like they hate me, does it? You know?
We did it during World War II with Japanese, which, you know, call it what you will, maybe wrong.
You're not proposing we go back to the days of internment camps, I hope.
No, I'm not proposing that at all, Megan. But what I am saying is that we need to protect America first.
That's the kind of stuff that gets people scared, Carl.
Right. But I'm just saying there is precedent for it, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but in this case, I absolutely believe that a regional base...
You can't be citing Japanese internment camps as precedent for anything the president-elect is going to do.
Look, the president needs to protect America first, and if that means...
A me non piace parlare di violenza islamica. Se io parlo di violenza islamica, devo parlare di violenza cattolica.
We're one American family, and when any part of our family starts to feel separate or second class or targeted, it tears at the very fabric of our nation.
That's what demagoguery is about. It is to obfuscate the real problems facing our society and find somebody you can blame and rally the American people. That's what it is. It's the immigrants or the Muslims, and we got to take them on. I know that you're angry, but Muslims are not your enemy. Who is your enemy?
Have you even read the United States Constitution? I will gladly lend you my copy.
It should be Sharia law, which advocates violence, acts against women, and acts violent, in effect, terrorism.
What are we talking about? These are political statements to gather votes and create hatred and dislike. I would love to sit down and talk on what Sharia law are we talking about. There is no such thing. These are laws of these Muslim countries. These are hodgepodge of various traditions, various British laws, various colonized times, laws, legal system. There is no such thing. United States has the Islamic law, which is equal protection of law under the 14th Amendment.
That's why we need to reject any politics that targets people because of race or religion. When politicians insult Muslims, whether abroad or our fellow citizens, when a mosque is vandalized, or a kid is called names, that doesn't make us safer. That's not telling it like it is. It's just wrong.
You know, I know that you've heard about all of these incidents, kids who look like you being bullied, and I'm sure you're afraid.
All those people don't know who we are, and that's what makes it so easy for them to hate and for them to fear.
People are just misinformed, and they exist. That's just a reality.
And I was always afraid to share my identity, but I don't want you to be afraid of that.
I want to just apologize to everybody. I really have no excuses, and I don't think you could imagine the amount of regret I have, and just the heartache I caused for everybody. It brought just discredit upon myself, the Marine Corps, everything I stand for. This just isn't me. And since then, I've taken some steps, and I was drinking that night more than I probably should have, and that's all done. And I'd like to go forward with with learning and helping other people not make the same mistake I did. Because for years, as I was a neighbor, and I did have fear, and the fear is always when you don't know something, and the unknown, you're always afraid. And I wish that I had come and knocked on your door, and if I had spent 5 minutes with you, it would have been all the difference in the world, and I didn't do that. And going forward, I would like to help you bridge any gaps or help anybody else not make the mistake I did.
A couple of hours later, in the midst of a chaotic house overflowing with friends and family, our neighbor Neil comes over, sits down next to my parents, and asks, "What can I do?" Neil had over 2 decades of experience in journalism, but he makes it clear that he's not there in his capacity as a journalist, but as a neighbor who wants to help. I ask him what he thinks we should do given the bombardment of local media interview requests. He offers to set up a press conference. So what made my neighbor Neil's allyship so profound? A couple of things. He was there as a neighbor who cared, but he was also bringing in his professional expertise and resources when the moment called for it. What resources and expertise do you bring to the table? Are you willing to step into your discomfort and speak up when you witness hateful bigotry? Will you be Neil? Many neighbors appeared in this story, and you, in your respective communities, all have a Muslim neighbor, colleague, or friend your child plays with at school. Reach out to them. Let them know you stand with them in solidarity. It may feel really small, but I promise you, it makes a difference.
And it's not enough to turn a blind eye or to only say, "Stop it." We owe our fellow citizens much more than that.